Absolutely.
You only do shadow work if you've gone through trauma.
It doesn't have to be a traumatic thing. It can
Yeah,
just
that's what yeah.
I happen to be a certain way, and I don't wanna be that way anymore. I'll give you an example. Well, maybe it's not the best example, but because, it's about people pleasing, and people pleasing tends to be viewed as a dark thing, but it's not really traumatic. It's just, something that I grew up with, culturally in my family. uh, Eldest child, you're the people pleaser. And as a result, I've noticed my entire life I've had issues with sciatica. And so I'll tell you a story. A couple of years ago, I was listening to a podcast with this well-known film director. He was telling a story about his wife and how she decided a few years ago to start coming onto set. And she'd never done that before. So she started coming onto set, and she would get mad at him, and she'd say, What's your problem? Why are you always yelling at people all day long? They're doing their jobs, they're doing the best they can." And he said, "Well, I'm the director. I have to do this. This is my job." And she said, "Oh, for example, this morning you got mad at these guys. They were already feeling bad. You getting mad at them didn't help. Like it wasn't going to make the job get done any faster." So she was trying to reason with him. So he said, "Okay, fine." He said, "I will not yell anymore." And he said, "That's the day that my sciatica issues began." And he's had them ever since. And it's because it wasn't just he was holding it all inside and he wasn't releasing anything. So
Right.
my takeaway after that was I need to yell at everybody. I came home and I announced to the family, I'm just going to become this yeller because that will help my sciatica. It was a joke. But as I went in a little bit deeper, I found that for me, it was a lot of people pleasing. I have sciatica on my right hip, which is also associated uh, with some forms of trauma. It can be, especially women who have experienced sexual trauma do tend to have that kind of pain. For me, it was not not expressing myself and not having my throat chakra open, not being able to get aid. So my people pleasing tendencies involved silencing myself to appease everybody else. And so I stopped doing that. Over it took a couple of years. I'll be honest; it was not an overnight miracle, and I haven't had any sciatica issues since then.